Hello, this is Fernand Brunchwig again, and I'm going to tell you about the dot product, and we're going to find a way to find vector components using the dot product. The dot product is the product of two vectors, A and B, and it's defined as the magnitude of A, the length of A, times the length of B, times the cosine of the angle between them. And you can calculate it by taking the x component of A times the x component of B and adding the y component of A times the y component of B. Now, the length of A is A with the bars, and that's, according to the Pythagorean theorem, the x component squared plus the y component squared, all that to the square root. The angle between A and B is theta. And we are going to be interested in finding a component. If this is angle A, vector A, and this is vector B, and this is theta, the angle between them, if we drop a perpendicular from the point of A to the line of where B is, then this length, which we titled A sub B, or the component of A in the direction of B, is what we're interested in finding. Now, if we look at the diagram, we can see that the cosine of that angle theta is the length that we're looking for, A sub B, divided by the length of A. So I've written that down here. The cosine of theta is the length that we're looking for, the component that we're looking for, divided by the length of A. So we can then solve for the length we're looking for, A sub B, and it's the length of A times cosine of theta. Well, that reminds us of the dot product, length of A, length of B times cosine. So all we have to do is multiply by the length of vector B in order to get the equivalent expression for the dot product on the right. So let's do that. Multiply by the B, the length of vector B, and that gives us the length of vector B times A sub B, or the component we want, on the left, times the dot product on the right. And if we solve that, substitute in the dot product and solve for the component we want, then we get the result. The component we want is the dot product of A and B divided by the length of B, or the norm of B, or the absolute value of B, however you want to describe it. But it's basically the same as up here, just calculating the length of vector B. So in words, we can find a component, any component of one vector with respect to another, the component of A in the direction of B, by taking the dot product of A and B and dividing by the length of the other vector. Now, how can we use that? That's a very important technique which we can use in finding finding ways to represent things with different coordinate systems. So first, we start by finding a representation of a coordinate system that is rotated by an angle alpha from the xy system. So we have to set up the diagram, and here we've set up the diagram. We have the xy system, and then we have the I unit vector in the x direction, and the j unit vector in the y direction. These are vectors with unit length. And then we rotate both of the unit vectors by an angle of alpha, and the unit vector I becomes A, rotated by angle alpha, and the unit vector j becomes unit vector b, also rotated by an angle alpha from its original position. And we can then find out the coordinates of unit vector A and unit vector B in terms of the xy system,